I have finally returned, and it is now update, I don't know, wait, is it 21 or 24? I don't know what update it is at this point. I genuinely don't know what update it is. I don't want to get called by my friends during this video, so I'm gonna, there we go. Okay, so, I'm gonna be exposing the frauds of this update. Now, you might be like, what do I mean by the frauds? Like, obviously, one of them is not Dragon, because Dragon is, really good this update, for obvious reasons. The two I'm talking about are Dragon Talon and the new Draco race. I don't really have as much to say about Dragon Talon as I do the new race, because I have a ton of issues with it. Oh, I already have that. Okay. But yeah, also during this, I'm going to be doing the Dragon Dodo. Because I just got 500 mastery for my Dragon Talon. Return when you've pondered its meaning and see clarity. What does he mean by that? But yeah, basically, might as well just talk about the, like, simpler one first. That being Dragon Talon. So, if you guys don't know, Dragon Talon got, a huge rework where where tons of stuff was added. Like the ability for it to one-shot stuff if it's low enough. Like, let's take an example. I come over here. I'm gonna damage this NPC a little bit. I'm gonna just use CDK just to. Never mind. I'm gonna have to do it on a different one. Okay, so I'm gonna do it on this guy. So as you can see, you can actually, I don't think I have that yet, but you can. I'll put a video on screen if I don't. But basically, if they're low enough, you can just one-tap them with Dragon Talon. Now this is cool and all, but you barely ever get the chance to use the one-tap. Since let's show another example. If we get the NPC like low enough, like that, why use Dragon Talon when you can use literally anything else? Like, it's just a soul shaker. A indirect soul shaker could probably do it. How? El Diablo. A move with 0 stats in gun. Let me show you. I have 0 stats in gun, and it's doing a few thousand damage. It's either A, Skull Guitar is a buffed version of Soul Guitar, which I doubt, because Soul Guitar was already busted. But that's saying a lot. As we saw there, 3,000 damage for the Skull Guitar move. So I might as well show that again, because this is gonna prove a point here. So this is how much that's how much a Dragon Talon M1 does at 500 mastery. And here's a Soul Guitar M1 at a lot less, at 300 mastery, without any stats. That's around half. That's around half the damage of Dragon Talon's M1 at 500 with stats in. Now, I've heard there's a V3, and that's actually the reason that's one of the reasons I'm calling it a fraud, is because every fighting style has had only two variants. Like Electric has had the base one, and then Electric Claw. God Human has Superhuman, then God Human. If you want to, Combat is just Combat. Well, Dragon Talon, unlike all the other ones, has had three. Yeah, that. So, are we gonna point out that apparently the main difference between this V3 and the V1 is you get the ability to ride Ember Annihilation, which is kind of mid, and then the ability to get to the finisher on Talon Lighter. Now, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, per se, but why use Talon Lighter when you could just use anything else for the move? And why use the ride version of Ember Annihilation when you could just, like, get a flight fruit? Like, you could use Blizzard, and it... Like, look, I don't have anything against Blizzard as a fruit. I like Blizzard. It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. But, like, flight-wise, its flight sucks, and it's still better than Ember Annihilation. And it especially puts Ember Annihilation to shame. The fact that, either way, Blizzard Flight does damage. Which, Ember Annihilation, from what I know, when you're flying it, unless you hit the person as it activates, it doesn't do damage. Which is saying something. Now, I don't think there's a change to Infernal Vortex when you upgrade it. Other than, I think, a slight damage increase. But but also, I was playing, when I was getting all the mastery for Dragon Talon. At 500 mastery, it was doing, you know, the 2,600 a hit. And then I popped V4, just so I could grind a bit more. And it only was doing 3,000 a hit. Which is saying something. Like, that is a drastic difference. And now, the second fraud about this update. The new V4, well, just the new race entirely, aka Draco. Which I don't even want to call it a new race. I want to call it a mesh of all of them in one, because of how much of a fraud I think it is. So let's talk about the V1 for a second, because I feel like this is definitely gonna start saying you have to complete this entire damn dojo. I don't like the dojo, as you guys can tell. You have to complete the entire thing, and then you have to. I don't remember the last step, but I know you have to basically have a friend in order to do it quickly, in a timely amount of time. So you gotta find the new island, the volcanic island, which I think is a really neat idea. But I think it's poorly executed, because you have to find it, and then you have to go back to grab the egg to unlock the race. So, basically, if you can't do it solo, is basically what it's doing. Because if you do it solo, you have to waste even more time finding the island a second time. Well, if you just do the island with a friend, you could ask your friend to stay there, and as long as they're there, the island doesn't despawn. Which is definitely a very good thing. But that's also like a cheesy strategy, in a way, because it's either you have to find it a second time and suffer, or you could leave a friend there and it'll permanently be there. I feel like if they wanted it, so hey, if a friend's there and you want and they're trying to stall out the island for you so you can get the egg and go back, you should just like if a friend is there, it should increase the amount of time until the island despawns by a random amount. Like it could go from like 25 let's say 25 seconds is the max. It could, well no, like let's say 5 minutes is the max. It could go up by 50% to 10 minutes, or it could go up like 25% or a certain percent, and then so it'll despawn either way, but you at least get extra time. Now I feel like V2 and V3, they're fine. They're definitely fine to get. They're like any other race, except, you know, V2 you have to do it in 3rd sea, which if you don't have a private server sucks, because then you won't be able to get it all that quick, because they spawn randomly around the entire map, and you have to go around and find them, which also can get cheesed by just farming in one area of Great Turtle. I can put a picture of it up on the screen. But yeah, you could just like farm it, and then you can get the flowers easily. And you could just like reset the server, or leave this server and rejoin if you're a private server, and you could just farm that infinitely. Which that's a problem, because I feel like that just removes the aspect of the flower quest. And here's the part that's gonna piss me off about this race, especially if I decide to go for it to have every V4. And that's getting the Leviathan heart. Now you guys might be wondering what I'm saying about like the Leviathan heart. And if you guys don't remember from a few updates ago, they added the Leviathan, which was needed to get Sanguine art. And basically, the only reason people go after the Leviathan is to unlock Sanguine art as a fighting style. And that's a problem I have with it. So if you have a friend who asks if you could do Leviathan for Sanguine art for them, it's either they get Sanguine art or you get Draco V4. And Draco V4, you have a timer. As soon as you get to Hydra, you have a timer until it just ends and you can't get Draco. So you either so basically you have to go around. You have to go all the way to Tiki, bribe the NPC for Leviathan, and then proceed to bring the heart back. Which, if you guys don't know from update 20, Leviathan is expensive to bribe. Most of the time, you have to get 10,000 fragments across multiple people to bribe the guy, which is a lot. So you gotta bring it back here, bring it to the waterfall, then you have a timer to kill, I believe, everything on the island. Then you need 600, I think it's 500 mastery on the gun and sword. And then you can enter the temple and then do the quest, which I think is way too easy. Like, okay, I like the idea of its V4 trial being unique, but why not just put it next to the other V4s at the Temple of Time, instead of having to do an entirely different thing? Like, okay, I'd get it if, oh hey, you have to do this before you can go to Temple of Time and unlock the door. That would be cool. That would be an interesting concept. But just having it as you have to do the trials while the island's covered in snow is really annoying. Like, it's like trying to do the danger level 6, but you're only allowed to use a rocket. But you have to kill every single shark in the ocean just to get one Leviathan. It's like that description of sorts, but more annoying. Now I do like the concept of this update. I'm not hating on the update itself. I'm just saying that Dragon Talon and Draco were frauds. Everything else in the update, it's not fraudulent. Like, look at my skull guitar. It looks cool. And now it carries over the effects of Storm Blessing. Same with my Dark Blade. It looks cooler now, because now the fire can change colors with hockey. Look at it. Look at that. It looks sick. But everything else, I genuinely don't like it. Like, okay, Dragon Talent, yes. I feel like of all reworked fighting style, well, of all recent fighting styles, it needed a visual revamp. But also, like, of all fighting styles, Dragon Talon, why not start with, like, Electric? Since that's been from what I know, first fighting style in the game. Dark Step was. Why not Dark Step? And then, like, Electric. Why not start with the base fighting styles? Give them a visual revamp, maybe a few move revamps. Except Electric, all of its moves are good. And then, go up then from those to like superhuman, and then from superhuman up to the advanced versions of the fighting styles. Where yes, eventually, I think the only reason they gave Dragon Talon the rework before the others was because Uzoth is on the staff crew. And he probably was like, guys, can we please get a revamp on Dragon Talon? And they were like, sure, why not? Which, genuinely, okay, yeah. Dragon Talon's sick. I have nothing against the fighting style. But, like, there's so many other fighting styles I can... Actually, I think at this point, I feel like combat needs a rework instead of Dragon Talon. It's kind of wasted. I get why they did Dragon Talon, though, because the Dragon update, I feel that was definitely cool. But, like, they also could have, like, combined... And here's the part where I'm just criticizing the update. They could have just... And this is one thing. They could have just named it Winter Update Part 2. Okay? They could have put the event in the game for the free gifts every hour. And then just named it Winter Update Part 2. I'm gonna be real. It's annoying. It's been a year. And for a year, it was Winter Update Part 1. Can we just change it to Winter Update Part 2? And call it a day? Anyways, that's all I really have to say about the update. Other than these slight criticisms, I think the update is really, really good. I genuinely really enjoy it. Except for the Dragon Dojo. Oh yeah, actually wait, hold up. There's one last thing I have to bring up about Draco Race before the video ends. Because I almost forgot about it. It's my one major problem with this furnace. Now, you know what? Let me sit in the furnace. Let me sit in the furnace for this next take. Cause I feel like a lot of people will not agree with me when I say this. They're gonna see me as Satan for this. Draco just kinda is a bad concept. Now I get it, it's the Dragon update. They wanted something cool to go with Dragon. And everyone's wanted a new race for a while. But all it is just taking the other fighting styles and then moving them into one husk, but having the effects greatly nullified from those other fighting styles. Like, it took the debuffs from Ghoul, the chain damage from Cyborg, the healing from, well, the health from Angel, the damage increase from Human, the speed from Mink, and then the damage reduction from Shark. The only thing that they added, which was new, and I'm gonna say new, actually by saying new, because it was new, is the damage repelling. Which, either way, I feel like that's not a Dragon thing. Like, okay, if they copied... I don't know if they copied Flight from Angel V4 for it. I have not seen Draco in a server yet. But if they could have done Flight and then some other abilities. Like, they could have done something like Angel's DOT. But, like, the Dragon stuff, I think is cool. I think it's, like, design-wise and idea-wise, it works. But, like, they really just copied the other V4s and then put it into one. That's all I'm gonna say about the update. Remember, this is just my opinion about me feeling like this update was kind of lacking, to say the least. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't worry, I will make another bear video before the year ends. Bye.